Hello, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Byline. I'm Sabine K. Bergman.
I'm Savani Babu.
We are the co-founders of Hidden Compass, and we are joined today by freelance writer Shoshi Parks, who wrote a beautiful story in our spring 2022 issue about the hardship of journeying along the Oregon Trail, whether enduring disease and disaster as an 1800s era immigrant headed west, or facing a wall of wildfire and smoke headed east in 2021. Shoshi, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're excited to chat with you. I want to start by just asking you what first motivated you to become a writer?
Oh gosh. So I began my professional career in academia, and my favorite thing about academia was always the writing and the researching. I was in anthropology and archaeology, and eventually, while that career wasn't ultimately a fit, I did find a lot of energy in the writing and the researching, and wanted to come back to that in a different venue. And so that's what got me started in travel writing.
I really identify with that because I also very much enjoyed writing in school.
Yes.
And the researching part of it, going out and being able to interview people, was always fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting. So my previous career was as a lawyer, and it was the same thing. One of my favorite parts of it was the writing and the research.
Yeah, there's something just so satisfying about, putting your thoughts out there on paper. Being able to kind of express yourself in that way is really, feeds my soul in some way.
Nice.
Yes. And then we also get to not just write, but go out and experience. And that's what I want to ask you about next, about this story. So you set out on a section of the Oregon Trail headed east, actually. And I want to know what motivated you to take that trip, and then tell this particular story, not just of the experience of your journey, but of the Oregon Trail in the 1800s.
Yeah. Well, I've always sort of had a fascination, but I write a lot about the West, and the West has long been my home. I keep coming back to it, even though I've lived elsewhere. And I'm particularly interested in the way the West has been shaped over the last 200 years. And so the immigrant experience is obviously a major factor there, not just in terms of those who were coming west, but also the lives and communities who were already here, who were, impacted and frankly, just absolutely devastated by that westward movement. And so the Oregon Trail has been for a long time something I've been interested in traveling along, and sort of the inability to, or at least I didn't feel safe, necessarily leaving the country last summer with the COVID situation. So my partner and I decided we would do a road trip, and, Oregon Trail was kind of the top of my list. So that's how we got there. But along the way, my focus was always to think about it as, what would those folks, 200 years ago, approximately, have been experiencing, and juxtaposing that to our present experience, or our contemporary experience. And, in a lot of ways, that trip was unfortunately just disappointing, simply because the smoke and the wildfires were so intense at that time. And we fought regularly about, should we continue this trip? Is this the, right time to be doing this? Maybe we should just go home. And ultimately we stayed the course, and I'm very glad we did, but it certainly shaped our experience in a way that I hadn't anticipated. And so when I began to think about writing a story, the thing that was sort of foremost in my mind was how both of those aspects, both the historical and the contemporary, shaped the journey.
Yeah, we love the story, and we're thrilled to be the ones who are publishing it. For the folks who are watching this video who don't know, we host patronage campaigns with every story we publish. And these are campaigns that reflect the partnership between us as a publication, our writers like Shoshi, and the audience as well. And so audience members can contribute to those campaigns. We split the proceeds of them 50-50 with the writer on top of what we pay them for their article in the first place. So Shoshi, I just want to ask, for the people who have already contributed to your campaign, what would you like to say to them?
Oh, thank you first. Absolutely appreciate any contribution, but I love this model because for those who aren't aware, those of us in the field of writing, particularly those of us who are freelancing, get paid very little to do this work. For me, unfortunately, I can't devote my full career to this because I just can't afford to live in the Bay Area, solely on a freelance writer's salary. So for those of you who are contributing, it really, I think it makes it feel like we're really making some kind of an impact, sharing these stories, and gives us the opportunity to do so when perhaps, financially we may not otherwise be able to. So it's a really innovative model, and gosh, I really hope that people, more publications consider it.
Thank you. Yeah, we hope the same. Hope that other publications move in this direction. And I feel so honored to be able to publish the stories that we publish, but I'm also excited because as a reader, I always wanted the opportunity to directly support writers and, like you said, to have an impact. So for those who have already contributed, thank you for that. It is an impact that allows all of us to do our work. For those who haven't read the story, go check it out. It's on hiddencompass.net. And thank you, Shoshi, for joining us today.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.